What happened to Elton? I thought I saw in the game there was a play where he might have been slow to get up and looked like maybe he got a leg or something. Was that what
Yeah,
happened?
he's got an ankle. He wasn't out at practice today, and just like we do, we're going to give him the full week to prove that he can play, and if he can go out there and feel confident playing on it, then we'll let him go.
Obviously, he seemed to play pretty well with it. Is that just adrenaline and toughness and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think Elton's one of the toughest guys we have on our football team. He's so reliable, does a great job. No matter what we ask him to do, he never blinks. He doesn't flinch, whether it's center, guard, tackle. He just goes out there and does a great job.
Matt, obviously you guys were preparing for crowd noise with New Orleans before the game got moved, but this is now going to be your first game in quite a while with a full house, full throat crowd against you and all that. How different is this going to be for your guys after not having a game like this for all this time?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot different. The closest we've come to that is the preseason game at Buffalo when there was a pretty packed house there. But yeah, no, it's going to be a primetime game. Their home opener. They're 2-0, so I'd imagine that the crowd is going to be into it big time, and it's going to be a factor.
When you look at the 49ers defense, when you look at the 49ers defense, obviously Roberts with the Jets now, Richard Sherman's not there, DeForest Buckner, but what do you see from their defense on film?
I see a really well-coached unit with a bunch of great players. Certainly they've had their fair share of injuries this season, but you look at just their past, it hasn't seemed to have affected them that much in the past, and then they got a guy like Bosa back. So they got stars on all three levels, and it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we're going to have to be well prepared, both mentally and physically. I think it's never easy on a short week, especially when you're talking about a long trip. So I think the guys' ability to recover, to hydrate, to eat the right foods, to get the right sleep is going to be imperative for us to go out there and play our best.
How many different options do you think you have? Not asking you to tell us what they are, but if Elton doesn't go, how many different things are you looking at?
Yeah, we've got a couple different options. You guys know our roster pretty well, so I'll let you guys decipher what we may do, and then we'll show you on Sunday.
Sorry about that. Back to their defense. Obviously, you've got a lot of familiarity with them. With the new coordinator, is it mostly the same stuff with D'Amico, or does he have his own spin on things?
Yeah, I'd say it's majority looks the same up to this point, but I'm sure they'll have wrinkles like every team does, and I'm sure that it's early enough in the season. I'm sure there's going to be a few unscouted looks like there always is early on, and they do a great job there. They got a great staff, guys that I've been around for quite some time, and really in every phase of it, and guys that I have a lot of respect for. So I know their players are going to be well prepared, and I'm sure they're going to be ready to go as well.
Matt, I'm not sure where things stand with Mitchell right now. I know he didn't practice today, but what did you thought of what he brings and just kind of being that running back for them so far the early part of the season?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter who they put in there at running back. They have major production, and I think it starts with just the scheme. They do a great job of, number one, of giving you unscouted looks. They take advantage of just wherever your weaknesses are, and they do a great job of that, and they always have. I think that's a collective effort there between Kyle and Mike McDaniel and Chris Furster and John Embry and Bobby Turner, and they all do a great job there. They've got Butch Berry there now as well. So I expect that they're going to have some stuff for us that like they always do, and they just find different ways to cut your defense and open up tremendous running lanes for those backs. You could see it in the first two games this year, and we're going to have to do a great job of making sure we're disciplined, that everybody's on the same page, and it's going to come down to, like it always does, somebody's got to win a block. Somebody's got to shed a block. We've got to be swarming on the defensive side of the ball. and have multiple hats at the point of attack.
Matt, you referenced this a little bit already, but just curious, how much of kind of a head start did you guys get on prepping for the Niners with watching all of that film against Detroit when you're getting ready for the Lions last week?
Yeah, you never want to get too far ahead of yourself in terms of if you don't focus on what's right in front of you, it's hard to go out there and play your best. So certainly we've got a lot of respect for every opponent that we play, but we knew kind of coming into the season where you have a short week. So you do some prep in the off season, and then you see how that still holds up to with where you currently are, not only with your football team, but what have they been showing on tape as well. So I would say the majority of that was the jump start was done prior to the season starting.
With all the speculation over Aaron over the offseason, are you and Kyle on speaking terms?
Yeah, Kyle's a great friend of mine, and so I haven't talked to him in a while. It's just part of the business. You kind of get in your own routine, but yeah, absolutely. I hold no ill will towards him.
Is that, I know you've been here for super long, but is that difficult to have those kind of conversations with, obviously everyone has relationships around the league. Is it difficult to have those kind of conversations with, hey, you've got a really good player, can I have him? That kind of stuff?
No, I mean, it is what it is. I understand, he's trying to do whatever he thinks he needs to do for his football team. I mean, he's got a responsibility to everybody in that organization, and if there's an opportunity, so I don't hold that against him. So, but yeah, that will have no effect on our relationship.
Matt, you're the team that's been to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row, but is there something about beating them that would sort of get you in your mind over a hump about the NFC and being, maybe considered the best team in the NFC?
I just think there's a lot of ball in front of us. A lot of things will play out along the way, but you're talking about one of the premier teams, not only in the NFC, but in the National Football League. And I think you can see it in every phase, offense, defense, special teams. I think, I've already talked about the coaching staff that they have and the respect that I have for them. I think they're one of the best in the business. And then you look at the players they have, and they've got elite players in every phase. So it's going to be a great challenge for us, on the road in a pretty hostile environment. I remember the last time we were there, it was, I shouldn't say the last time we were there, but 2 years ago when we were there, it's tough to operate from an offensive standpoint because it was a pretty chaotic environment. So I anticipate that being much the same, and we just got to make sure that our communication's on point and that we're prepared both mentally and physically to go out there and put our best foot forward.
With Mike not being there, is it a little less personal to you? I mean, is it a different type of game, do you think, than the other two?
Well, yeah, I think anytime you're talking about your immediate family, there's always that element that plays a factor. But certainly those are people that I care about and have long relationships with, and it's not just Kyle, it's multiple people on their coaching staff, their strength staff. Dustin Perry's my wife's first cousin, so I mean there still is some family ties there, and it's never necessarily fun playing against your friends, but it's part of the business, and you kind of you put all that aside, and you I guess talk a little bit in the pregame, and then afterwards you shake hands and you flip the script to the next week.